But first, you may be devoted to your job, but do you regularly show up at work early on your own time so you can improve and sharpen a skill that's especially useful in your career?
That is what the worker you are about to meet has done, and his dedication has paid off in ways he could not imagine.
The roastery at Coffee by Design in Portland is a surprisingly low-tech operation. Most of the work is done by hand. No assembly line here, which is just the way Julian Langevin, who works at the roastery, likes it.
You know, with automation, it kind of takes a step back from like what we're here for, and that's coffee. And that's, you know, what I like about it.
What was your first job where you were getting paid to be around coffee?
I worked at the Starbucks on Congress Street when I got the job when I was 18.
A shift leader there helped sharpen his palate.
She like sat me down and she was like, okay, like we're gonna taste this Italian roast and we're gonna pair it with a lemon pound cake, and like you're gonna tell me how like the food you're eating, how that informs what you're tasting in the coffee. And like that was the first experience where I actually started to think about, okay, like this is coffee, but it could taste like something else.
In the fall of 2021, Langevin began working at Coffee by Design, not as a barista as he had at other businesses, but as a production roaster, which gave him the opportunity to taste coffee with a whole new rigor and discrimination.
And like that was kind of an epiphany moment where I was like, oh my God, like roast affects flavor, and how you roast coffee, how you develop the sweetness, the sugars, it all goes into what that coffee tastes like.
In 2020, before he started this job, Langevin had qualified to compete in the Cup Tasters competition at the United States Coffee Championships. The event was called off because of the pandemic, but when it came back this spring, Julian was still eligible to compete, and he started to prepare.
So yeah, I'll just go through and...
In the competition, a contestant is given 6 sets with 3 cups of coffee in each set. The challenge, in 6 minutes, to identify in each set the cup that's different from the other 2. Speed and accuracy are crucial.
And you don't have to figure out what country it's from, you don't have to figure out the process, like it's very like straightforward, just figure out which one's different.
Leading up to the competition, you were careful about what you ate and drank so that you would be at peak tasting ability?
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard things like people would only eat oatmeal or people would do this and that, so I was like, you know, I'm not going to only eat oatmeal, so I did eat things other than oatmeal. But
that sounds pretty grim.
Right? I tried to like only eat like definitely no spicy food and things that maybe weren't too intense in any capacity, but also kind of keep a sense of normalcy, because that's also important, is just feeling normal up there, because, you know, if you're hungry and tired, you're not going to do well.
The tasting, which is known as cupping, does not consist of dainty sips. I don't mean to be Miss Manners here, but you really slurp the coffee.
I don't even have a loud slurp. I have a tiny, quiet slurp. But yes, you do. You do slurp it out of the spoon.
The idea is that slurping sprays coffee to the back of the palate. Julian's colleague, Travis Spear, is an even more vigorous slurper. When you do that a dozen times in a row, does that afterwards make you burp?
No, so actually that's the thing. You're not pulling air quickly. It's a really slow, controlled pull.
In April, it was time for the National Cup Tasters competition at the U.S. Coffee Championships in Boston. Going up against 22 other tasters, Julian was surprisingly calm.
I wasn't even focused on winning. I was just focused on being on a stage I never thought I'd see. What do I have to lose? Nothing.
So it's not as if you had ice water in your veins. You were just kind of having fun, happy to be there.
Yeah. I kept saying that I said that to my friend Kate, you know, like, I'm just happy to be here. And then they said to me later in the weekend when I was like, yeah, I'm going to finals, they were like, oh, still just happy to be here. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know.
You emerged as the winner.
Yeah.
What did that feel like?
I don't know if it even feels real now.
This was the moment when Julian learned he had won. Although he could go around saying truthfully that he has the most acute sense of coffee taste in America, he doesn't. His boss calls him the most humble, thankful person you could meet.
The day after the championship, we had 26 coffee farmers here cupping coffee. And Julian pulled me aside and said, winning the competition was meaningful. Having a chance to cup coffees with the growers meant even more.
And you can kind of like go back and forth.
One final thought. By now, you may be thinking that Julian Langevin is a coffee snob. Ding!
Yeah.
He's the first to acknowledge he's a coffee nerd, but a snob? No.
Do you ever have coffee milkshakes?
Yeah. Oh, I love like a frozen coffee. I love a little Frappuccino or Dunkin' Coolata.
Coffee ice cream?
Oh, I love I grew up on coffee ice cream, like mocha java chip. Oh my God, yeah.
That was awesome.
He's very down to earth, but the distinctions that they make in the tasting are really interesting. So they'll put 3 cups in front of you,
Yep.
and there may be virtually no difference in taste,
Yeah.
but there's a difference perhaps in the acidity or what they call the mouth feel, and that is what will separate that 1 cup from the other 2.
Wow. Hey, and who knew that there was an art to slurping? That's
Spray it to
That's
the
what
back
caught
of the
me.
palate. I mean, don't be trying that at the office. It probably won't make you popular.
Hey, but you could just say that's how the professionals do it, after all.
Yeah. And he likes coffee milkshakes. He likes coffee ice cream. He's never tried Allen's coffee brandy in his coffee.
Well, first for everything.
Yeah. So Julian Langevin is not done yet. In June, he will travel to Milan, Italy to represent the United States in the tasting competition at the World Coffee Championships. It is, in effect, the Olympics of coffee.
Very cool, and we will, of course, let you know how he makes out.